Jake Paul, the YouTuber star who's been making waves in the boxing world, just took on more than he could handle, and Joe Rogan isn't holding back and tearing him apart for it. After all the hype, all the trash talk, and a mountain of confidence, Jake suddenly pulled out of the fight against the legendary Mike Tyson, leaving everybody stunned. But with Rogan's brutal critique echoing through the sports world, you gotta wonder, did Jake finally realize that he was in way over his head?
We're getting thousands of views and making viral videos. People are calling like, yo, let me pay you to do this video. Let me fly you to Texas.
He didn't start in the gyms of Detroit or the mean streets of Philadelphia. Instead, he come from the world of YouTube, where his larger-than-life persona and penchant for controversy made him a star long before he ever put on a pair of boxing gloves. But when Jake decided to step into the ring, it wasn't just a stunt. He took it seriously, and so did his fans. His early fights, though not against traditional boxers, were spectacles in their own right. Now, his knockout of NBA player Nate Robinson, for example, sent shockwaves through social media, with Jake proving that he had real power and the ability to put on a show.
If you would have asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said, am I going to fight Mike Tyson?
But as entertaining as all these fights was, they didn't do much to establish Jake as a legitimate contender in the eyes of the boxing community. Beating up non-boxers might have been good for his brand, but it didn't earn him much respect from those who live and breathe the sport. Jake was winning, sure, but against opponents who was way more famous for their exploits outside the ring than inside it. To a bunch of people, he was just another celebrity trying to play at being a boxer, riding the wave of his internet fame. Now, the real test came when Jake faced Tommy Fury, a professional boxer with a pedigree that included being a younger brother of Tyson Fury, one of the best heavyweights of the modern era. Now, this was a different kind of fight, one that pitted Jake against somebody who'd spent his life training in the sport. The stakes was high, and the fight was a critical moment in Jake's career. The result? Jake lost, and with that loss came a harsh dose of reality. It was a wake-up call that exposed the gaps in his boxing ability, showing that there's a big difference between beating up celebrities and facing somebody who knows his ins and outs of the sport.
Big boy, big boy. Let's face up here, guys. Let's face up here.
When it comes to this kid, y'all can always expect a show. And his preparation for the Mike Tyson fight wasn't no different. From the moment the fight was hinted at, Jake went all in on building the hype. He released a series of training videos that went viral, each one showing him putting in the work, hitting the bags, and sparring with intensity. Now, the message was clear. He wanted everybody to know that he was serious about this fight. He wasn't just talking the talk, he was training hard, ready to back up his bold claims with action in the ring. But of course, it won't gonna be a Jake Paul event without some serious trash talk. Now, this dude has always known how to get under his opponent's skin, and this time he took it up a notch by invoking the name of Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers of all time. Jake quoted Ali by saying, "If you even dream of beating me, you better wake up and apologize." Now, this wasn't just a clever line, it was a direct challenge to Tyson, a way of saying that Jake saw himself as the future of boxing, somebody who could stand in the same ring as legends. Now, the remark added a bunch of fuel to the fire, ramping up the tension and making the potential clash with Tyson even more intriguing and controversial. But while Jake was busy building the hype and psyching out Tyson, the boxing community wasn't so easily convinced. A lot of experts and veterans was quick to point out the dangers of facing somebody like Mike Tyson. Now, Tyson, even at his age, ain't no ordinary fighter. His power, speed, and experience is on a different level, and these is abilities that don't just disappear with time. Legends like Roy Jones Jr., who had fought Tyson in an exhibition match, warned that Jake might be in over his head. Jones, along with others like Usyk and Holyfield, emphasized that facing Tyson wasn't just about skill. It was about surviving the experience and his raw power. They cautioned that Jake's bravado could lead to a dangerous situation, one that he might not be fully prepared to handle. The consensus among all these experts was clear. Jake was playing with fire, and the consequences could be deadly. And then, just when the anticipation had reached its peak, Jake Paul did something nobody expected. He backed out of the damn fight. The announcement was a bombshell, sending shockwaves through the boxing community and leaving fans in disbelief. After all the talk, the training, and the trash talk, Jake decided to walk away from what could have been the defining moment of his career. Now, the reasons for his withdrawal ain't immediately clear, but the impact has been and is profound. Now, fans who'd been eagerly waiting to see Jake take on Tyson was left feeling disappointed, and in a bunch of cases, downright mad. Now, this was supposed to be the fight to prove whether Jake was a real deal or just another loudmouth who couldn't back up his words with definitive action. The excitement that had built up around the event evaporated in an instant, replaced by a sense of letdown and frustration. People had been ready to witness a clash of generations, a showdown that could have gone down in boxing history. And now it was all off the table. But it wasn't just the boxing fans that was upset. The boxing world itself reacted with a wave of criticism. Now, Jake's withdrawal by many has been seen as absolute fear, a realization that he'd bitten off way more than he could ever chew and was now retreating to avoid the inevitable defeat. Some even viewed it as an act of disrespect towards Tyson, a fighter who'd spent his life earning the kind of reputation that Jake was now casually dismissing. Now, the criticisms was harsh and widespread, with a bunch of people questioning Jake's place in the sport. I mean, is this dude even really 100% committed to boxing? Or was this all just like a little game for views for him? Now, the sudden withdrawal has raised a lot more questions and hasn't provided a lot of answers yet, and is casting a long shadow over Jake's future in the ring. I mean, when you back out of something like this, people ain't gonna be taking you seriously for a long time. Alright, so Joe Rogan is known for his unfiltered opinions and his deep knowledge of combat sports. And he did not hold back when he addressed Jake Paul's decision to back out of the fight with Mike Tyson. On his podcast, Rogan expressed outright contempt for the entire situation, starting with Jake's initial challenge. Now, Rogan, like a lot of other people, was intrigued by the prospect of a fight between Jake and Tyson. But he always had some reservations about whether Jake truly understood what he was really walking into and getting himself into. When Jake decided to pull the plug on the fight, Rogan's frustration was evident. Now, this dude did not mince words, calling out Jake's decision as not just a letdown, but a stark reminder of the difference between hype and reality in the world of professional boxing. Now, Rogan went on to dissect why Jake Paul was out of his depth against Tyson, breaking it down in a way that made it clear just how wide the gap was between the two fighters. According to Rogan, Jake's confidence and bravado, while impressive, wasn't going to compensate for the years of experience, raw power, and ring intelligence that Tyson possesses. Rogan pointed out that Tyson ain't just a name. The dude's a straight-up force of nature, somebody who has spent decades perfecting his craft and facing down the most dangerous opponents in the sport. For Jake to think that he could just step into the ring with someone like that, Rogan suggested was a clear sign that Jake was buying too much into his own hype. Rogan emphasized that while Jake had made waves by beating celebrities and non-traditional boxers, those victories didn't prepare him for the kind of punishment Tyson could dish out. In Rogan's view, Jake was facing a reality check, and backing out was probably the smartest decision that he could have made, even if it disappointed the fans. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? Make sure you let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.